From being exposed as having 15 mistresses to having his nudes leaked all over the internet, here are Tiger Woods' most controversial moments. Starting off with the time Woods deserted his brother Kevin when he needed him most. So here's the deal. Kevin Woods was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a disease that affects the nervous system. He reached out to Tiger for help, but Tiger wouldn't listen. Despite regular messages and updates, he just never responded. And as a result, Kevin was on the verge of losing his home. Now, we all know that family is supposed to come first, but for Tiger, it seems like winning golf tournaments was more important than taking care of his own flesh and blood. It's a sad situation to say the least, but it isn't the first time he's let his family down. Things really started to unravel for him when many women came forward claiming they had an affair with Woods. The first woman who came forward with allegations of an affair with Tiger was Rachel Ukitel. She was a nightclub manager and reportedly met him at a club in New York City. When news of their alleged affair broke, it sent shockwaves throughout the media, mostly because it was the same year that he was named the first athlete to earn over $1 billion in his career. That's right, Forbes estimated that Tiger had earned a whopping $1 billion in his endorsements. But of course, the infidelity scandal put a major dent in Tiger's image and reputation. And of course, as more women came forward, the scandal just got bigger and bigger. It was his wife, Elin Nordegren, who discovered texts on his phone from one of his mistresses. This was a huge blow to Elin, who had been married to Tiger for several years and had 2 children with him. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. As Elin dug deeper, she reportedly discovered that Tiger had at least 15 other mistresses during their marriage. It was clear that Tiger had been leading a double life, and it was a crazy betrayal of Elin's trust. They decided to get a divorce, and their marriage officially ended. And he ended up having to get help for his debilitating sex addiction. Wood stayed at the rehab clinic for a couple of weeks and underwent intensive therapy and counseling sessions to fix his addiction. Apparently, he was fully committed to the program, and he also apologized to his wife and family for his behavior. It's clear that Tiger Woods really needed help with his sex addiction, especially given how the affairs just kept piling up. It was causing harm to his marriage, his reputation, and his mental health. The golfer continued to make headlines for both his on- and off-course activities, including an incredibly publicized DUI arrest. So here's the scoop. Tiger was found sleeping in the driver's seat of his Mercedes on the side of the road, with the engine running, and when the police approached him, they noticed that he was disoriented and had trouble speaking. They asked him to perform a few sobriety tests, all of which he failed multiple times, and to make things worse, when they searched his car, they found not 1, not 2, but 5 different substances in his system, and yet no evidence of any prescriptions. But fear not, folks. Tiger pleaded guilty to reckless driving and justice was served. So he's learned his lesson and won't be causing any more trouble, right? Wrong. Another one of the most controversial moments came when he made comments about his racial identity. Basically, Woods described himself as Cablinasian, which he said was a term he coined to describe his mixed racial identity. He said that he considered himself a mix of Caucasian, Black, Native American, and Asian, and that he didn't want to be labeled solely as African American. It caused quite a stir at the time. People criticized him for not fully identifying as Black and for trying to distance himself from his heritage. They also felt that he was trying to downplay the role that race had played in his life and career. After all, he had broken many barriers as a Black golfer in a predominantly white sport, and he faced a lot of racism and discrimination along the way. In the end, Woods stood by his comments and refused to be pigeonholed into any one racial category. He said that he was proud of his mixed heritage and that he wanted to be recognized as such. But that's not the only time he's stirred up trouble. Yeah, I'm talking about his plethora of rule violations. Oh man, where do I even start? Let's talk about one of the most popular moments, his drop at the 2013 Masters Tournament. If your ball lands in an area that's deemed unplayable, you have to take a penalty and drop the ball in a specific spot. But during the 2013 Masters, Woods found himself in a sticky situation. When his ball landed in an awkward spot, he took a drop that seemed a little suspicious to some observers, and the officials eventually ruled that he had violated the rules by not dropping the ball in the correct spot. As a result, Woods was hit with a 2-stroke penalty that cost him the whole tournament. Ouch! Another time, he hit a shot that appeared to cause his ball to move slightly. However, he didn't assess himself a penalty at the time and continued playing as if nothing happened. Later, after reviewing video footage of the shot, the rules committee determined that Woods had indeed violated the rules by causing his ball to move. You'd think a seasoned player would know when to call that out, but no, his on-court antics keep getting worse. Like that time he slammed his driver into the tee box, and it straight up ricocheted into the crowd. Tiger wasn't having the best game ever, and things got a bit out of hand. He hit an off-target shot and got so mad that he slammed his driver into the ground. Unfortunately, the club ricocheted off the tee box and flew into the crowd. But get this, he didn't even check if anyone got hurt. I mean, that's just cold, man. It's not a good look for someone who's supposed to be a role model to millions of fans. Luckily, nobody was seriously hurt, but it was still a really dangerous move. It doesn't end just yet. He was also part of many steroid use allegations. Tiger was named in a report that linked him to a Canadian doctor who was accused of providing PEDs to athletes. The report definitely raised some eyebrows and made a lot of people wonder if Tiger had been cheating to gain an advantage on the golf course. Of course, the golfer denied these allegations and insisted that he had never used anything of the sort. But the fact that his name was even mentioned in this report was enough to taint his reputation. People pointed out that Tiger's physique and incredible athleticism were evidence that he may have been using steroids. They might have admired the physique part too much, because his nudes got leaked all over the internet. Yeah, you heard me right. Tiger Woods' now ex-girlfriend Lindsey Vonn had her phone hacked, and many personal photos of her and her boyfriend were leaked online. Among the photos were nudes of Tiger, which caused quite an uproar. Fans were shocked and appalled at the invasion of his privacy, but others couldn't help but wonder why he would take nudes in the first place. It definitely didn't do any favors for his already bad image. Tiger himself didn't address the scandal directly, but his lawyers did send a warning to anyone who shared the photos that they would take legal action. It's definitely not a great look, but at the end of the day, it's just another chapter in the book of the golfer's controversial life. And that's all for Tiger Woods' most controversial moments.